What's going on, Bengals fans? Stone Shields on hand for another edition of Bengals Breakdown. And we have some Bengals breaking news here on a Monday as we are getting underway with NFL free agency here in the 2025 cycle. A bit of a surprise, B.J. Hill is coming back to Cincinnati on a 3-year deal worth $33 million with $16 million guaranteed. So we're going to be breaking that down here on today's video. Again, a bit of a surprise to me. I considered it kind of probably like a 20-25% chance that B.J. Hill would be returning to Cincinnati, but ultimately the organization and Hill and his team reached an agreement, and he will be back for 3 years. Certainly does provide a nice veteran presence. By the way, doing a little solo producing here on today's video, so if you see me look down, whatever the case may be, just trying to do multiple things here at once as we progress through today's show. Happy to be back. Was out of town for the past few days. Appreciate you guys bearing with me through that process, but we are back. We are here. We are ready to go, and we're going to be talking some B.J. Hill news on today's edition of Bengals Breakdown. But make sure you guys hit that sub button if you have not done so already. That's youtube.com/Bengals TV. When Bengals breaking news hits, we got you covered with a video here at the channel. Hopefully this isn't the only move of today here on a Monday. Hopefully there are several more to come. Obviously some other big names that we have an eye on as well. Of course, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and we'll see what happens with Trey Hendrickson. But don't miss out on any of our coverage. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/Bengals TV. As I mentioned, a bit of a surprise that B.J. Hill is coming back to the Cincinnati Bengals on a 3-year extension. A couple of reasons why I think it is a bit surprising. Number one, Hill is 29 years of age. And when we see the Cincinnati Bengals and how they like to run their organization, they typically, once you get around that 30 years of age mark, they kind of shy away from it. They like to do other things and kind of move on. So that's kind of the first thing that I thought was a bit surprising about this deal for B.J. Hill there. Secondly, I don't think he provided much for you from a pass rush perspective. Now, obviously, he is not a pass rusher. He is an interior defensive lineman, but the Bengals really have gotten no push through their interior in recent years, but B.J. Hill is going to come back. I do think he provides a great veteran presence. Hill, of course, was here when Al Golden was here several years ago for the Cincinnati Bengals at that linebacker coach spot. Golden now, of course, the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, so maybe that chemistry between the two certainly impacted him coming back for Cincinnati again for 3 years going forward. And another thing, Cincinnati also replaced him via the draft last year with drafting guys like potential replacements, I should say, with guys like McKinley Jackson and Chris Jenkins Jr. Another reason why I thought perhaps maybe B.J. Hill would be looking to go elsewhere. But ultimately, Cincinnati decides to bring B.J. Hill back. Got Gesicki coming back. Had a video that went out on the channel detailing that. By the way, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about Gesicki and kind of recapping the free agency as a whole as well. But this video in itself really dedicated towards B.J. Hill. Leads us to the pinned comment of today's video. Grade the re-signing of B.J. Hill. Let me know in the comments of today's show. A, B, C, D, or F. That ad comes here on YouTube. That's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comment section and let us know what you think. I would say in 2024, B.J. Hill probably did not have one of the best years of his career, but for the most part, I would say he definitely was steady for the Cincinnati Bengals football team along the interior of their defensive line. Really, it's kind of a counterpart that the Bengals are looking to add around B.J. Hill at this point, or, of course, a guy like Chris Jenkins Jr. or McKinley Jackson that can go in there for you and really develop into a solid player. I get why Bengals fans would be a little bit concerned, right, bringing B.J. Hill back just because he was a guy that played, as you can see there, 15 games for the Cincinnati Bengals defense, and their defense really was bad, and they opt to bring him back going forward here over the course of the next 3 years. Now, his buddy, Jermaine Pratt, of course, requested a trade, so we will see kind of how that impacts the rest of the defense there for Al Golden and Cincinnati. But I guess B.J. Hill wanted to stay. here in Cincinnati, and both sides were able to make it work, come to terms on an agreement for him to be sticking around for the foreseeable future. So certainly happy for B.J. Hill. His family, they get their money, certainly, and he will be looking to provide an impact on this Bengals defense as we go forward. Obviously, needs to improve off what we saw last year for Cincinnati. Continue with our show here in a moment, but first, a shout-out to our friends over at Fanatics. I want to let you guys know that Bengals sideline hats are out, and they are available right now. Really encourage you guys to go over there at Fanatics. Check out some of those Bengals sideline hats. That's chatsports.com/Bengals sideline. That link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. I've got a few of these myself. Obviously, it is the off season. That doesn't mean you can't get some Cincinnati Bengals swag, courtesy of our friends over at Fanatics. Now, I think there's got to be a developmental piece to B.J. Hill coming back as well, with Cincinnati, again, looking at that defensive line room. They have McKinley Jackson. They have Chris Jenkins Jr. That line, particularly there on the interior, has to be a lot better. But Zach Taylor, Duke Tobin showing their belief in B.J. Hill. This guy's been a part of winning in the past for Cincinnati. He's been a big factor on those teams that went to the Super Bowl, that went to the AFC Championship game. He was on that defense making plays, particularly in the run game. It's just kind of that pass rush perspective that really hasn't gone the way that I guess Hill maybe would have wanted it to. Chris Jenkins Jr. showed a lot of flashes. Now, if B.J. Hill can kind of return back to how he played the past couple of seasons, and Chris Jenkins Jr., their second-round pick of last year, can continue to develop, that can allow Cincinnati to certainly have more success along their defensive line. But again, kind of surprised that Cincinnati ultimately decides to bring back B.J. Hill. I don't really have, a feeling one way or the other. It's not that I'm upset they did it. It's not like I'm over the moon with joy that they did it as well. I'm kind of just like, okay, it was a bit of a surprise, and we'll see how it goes from here. Another opportunity for you guys to get involved with our show here at Bengals Breakdown. Let me know what you guys think. What is your one-word reaction to this signing? I think mine would probably just be surprised, as I've said several times here on the show so far. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section of today's video. Final thoughts here before we get out of here. Again, Cincinnati and B.J. Hill agreeing to a 3-year, $33 million deal, $16 million of which is guaranteed. We will see if this ultimately proves to be a great move for Duke Tobin and the Bengals, or if this is something that they regret. So the Bengals kind of go out of their comfort zone here. Clearly they see something in B.J. Hill, and they want him to be a part of the solution going forward because he is getting up there in age. 29 years old, will turn 30. Bengals have shied away from players like that in the past, but kind of going in the opposite direction here with B.J. Hill. Don't think there's really any way to feel about this, whether you're super happy or super ticked off. I think it's just kind of in the middle, and hopefully this is just a sign that more moves are going to continue to happen. I think we all were very excited about Mike Gesicki. Cody Ford was kind of a, whatever type situation, as long as he's not a starting guy for you on the offensive line. Now you got B.J. Hill. You're paying him 3 years, $33 million, so he's going to be a starter for you. Hopefully he can get back and play a little bit better than he did this past year. Make sure you guys hit that sub button if you have not done so already. We will be here all week long detailing any of the moves that Cincinnati makes. Happy to be back. Hope you guys are as well. Don't miss out on any of our coverage. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/BengalsTV.